Dude, I hate hay fever so much. I'm not sure if you can tell by my voice, but it certainly feels off. I'm certainly over the worst of it, don't get me wrong, but like, man, this week was so bad. I took a few pictures of me, like, dude, it's a bit of a jump scare, really. I look terrifying. For me, at least, hay fever, it's like having a regular cold, but your eyes are just in so much pain. I used to, like, not have it at all. In fact, for, like, the majority of my life, I was completely fine. But I went on one field trip, and it was bad. I think that was the thing that broke the seal of my hay feverness. Like, it was just so much. It was like year 8, so like middle school, I think-ish time, and we were camping out in a field in the countryside. For the first of 3 days, I was completely fine. Like, getting there was all good, and we did have a massive hike up a hill. I think it was Ingleborough. I'll put a picture of it. Quite a nice walk, to be honest. It was quite nice, particularly towards the end, like we were going through some forest bits. That was fine. Anyway, I was completely fine in the walk, but on the way back, and kind of throughout the evening, I started to feel like I was getting a bit of a cold. Once again, this was my first time getting hay fever. I had no idea what it really was. But anyway, later on, it was starting to get a little bit worse. I didn't really know exactly what was going on. Like, I thought I just picked up a bug right at the start of the trip. So anyway, I went to bed not knowing what was to come. And the next day, we went caving, which was also quite fun. Also, very, very convenient. Like, if you are going to have hay fever, being in a cave is like the best place to be. There's going to be no pollen anywhere, so it's perfect, really. But dude, on the way back to the campsite, I don't know what those farmers were cutting down, but my eyes were just so sore. Like the pictures I showed earlier today of my eyes being red, imagine that times 2. Like, I was literally crying on the car drive back to the campsite. And bearing in mind, I had no idea what was going on. A friend of mine did tell me that I shouldn't say that I had hay fever, because, it was something stupid. He said something like, never say you have hay fever, because once you have hay fever, you can never get it back. And I thought that was, like, sound logic. I was like, okay, that's pretty good logic right there. But looking back on it, that's just me gaslighting myself into thinking I don't have hay fever, which really, in hindsight, kind of a bad philosophy, you know, just to pretend you don't have something. Anyway, we got back to the campsite, and I had these sunglasses, which I took, and I'm not kidding, for the rest of the entire stay, I pressed them so hard against my face that there was no way any pollen could get through. I pretty much made like an evacuated chamber around my eyes. Like, you know what swimming goggles do to your eyes if you wear them for too long, you get those rings around? I pretty much had that alongside the redness of my eyes. Like, I must have looked crazy. From all the crying as well earlier in the day, I was pretty dehydrated. Bearing in mind, I was like, I was 12, maybe 13. I was an idiot. I was really stupid. I didn't bring any water with me because I assumed I just wouldn't need it. And I didn't even go out to the barbecue that the teachers set up. It smelled so nice from my tent. But like, I didn't go out because I figured that if I moved or like left my tent, my eyes would just explode. That's what it felt like, at least. Also, because it was my first time having hay fever, I didn't anticipate that I would have hay fever. I didn't even know what it was, really. So I didn't bring any like medication or anything like that. And I think some other students did have like hay fever tablets, but the way we did it at our school, we had to give all medication to our teachers, so there was no way for us to like distribute medication. Really, like a smart move by the teachers, really. But because it wasn't mine and I didn't hand any in, they couldn't really give me any. Like, it'd be kind of weird if they did. So literally for the rest of the entire stay, I just stayed in my tent, had my sunglasses pressed against my face, and that was it. Like, I must have looked like a weirdo. I think from memory, I started to feel a bit better. So towards the end of the trip, I was actually okay, and I got back completely fine. But because of the hay fever I've had recently, I think I finally figured out what I'm allergic to. And I think it's cypress trees. Basically, there's this website I found that tracks pollen count, and I searched it up for my area, and it's cypress trees that I think I'm allergic to. It was quite high today, and I don't feel terrible, so maybe it's not that. But dude, like, how am I allergic to trees? Like, that's actually so embarrassing. Like, I wouldn't survive at all if it was back to, like, the primitive time, where you have to go out and, you know, do things. Because, dude, I'm allergic to trees. How is that even, how? And I'm not even sure if it is cypress trees that I am allergic to. Like, the count today is relatively high, and I don't feel terrible. So, I don't know, maybe it's not that. This might come as a surprise, but I don't really go around licking or sniffing trees or anything like that. So I don't really know if that's what I'm allergic to. Maybe I should just like go around a bunch of cypress trees and just hang around there for a bit and see what happens. Anyway, I also want to say that I don't normally get ill. Maybe like once a year. But when I do, dude, it's bad. Anyway, I'll put the pictures on screen again because I think it is quite funny. But I am feeling much better now though. This was definitely the worst of it. So anyway, I don't really know how I end these videos. Do I just say bye? Okay, bye guys.